Kyle. How's it going?
Oh, we're good, man. We're here in Nashville, and it's always a fun city to come to. A lot of scenery, a lot of fun things to do, and a good crowd is always at this one. So yeah, looking forward to the weekend. I think this is my third one. I think 2019 was the first time I think we actually came here. Actually worked for this team back then, and then last year and this year. So yeah, I think this is going on 3. I've raced 200 main events. Obviously, I haven't made every single main event I've ever tried for. So as far as like the amount that I've tried to do, it's got to be quite a bit more than that, obviously. But I think I'll be going for 202. The 202 main event starts. So it honestly, yeah, it's got to be north of 250 attempts or whatever, I guess you'd say. There's a few more. A few guys have done more than me. Honestly, through my career, I've had really good years without injuries, and then some years where I miss a whole season or whatever. So I have quite a few missed races just from injuries. But honestly, when you've done this for 20 years like I have, that's just, it's part of it, you know, it happens. So yeah, just some races with injuries, but I'm in the top 10 for sure. So it's some cool names to be associated with. Oh, that's the plan. Honestly, I would say the last like 3-4 years of my career, I've kind of been like, okay, like I'm getting up there, and I'm 36, I'll be 37 later this year. And for this sport, that's old, right? So not many guys, but there's been a trend of guys racing more into their 30s. Where back when I started professionally, if you're in your late 20s, you're pretty much at the end of your career. But as I've done this over the last 15 or 20 years, that age of people like retiring or stopping racing has kind of gone up to where you look like Eli Tomac and guys, they're in their younger 30s and still being competitive. So for me, the last few years, I've always just been like, okay, let's reassess at, towards the end of the year. Do I want to go another year? Am I doing good? Am I having fun? Am I still enjoying it? Do I want to do it another year? And yeah, at this point, we only have like 4 races left and still enjoying it and doing pretty well. And we're up there battling every week. So yeah, that's the plan, is to race next year.
Good.
Man, to be honest, it used to be Vegas. We always would end in Vegas for most of my career. Obviously, Vegas is a fun place. We had a couple weeks off usually after that. So it's the end of the season. It's a long season. It's a long grind. So everybody kind of, after the race, we kind of go out and let loose a little bit. Not a lot, because we have to still race outdoors, a couple weeks later. But we'd have a little time to kind of go out and have some fun and not have to race that next weekend. And Vegas is always a fun place to do that. So honestly, that's probably my all-time favorite place. But as I've gotten older, I have a family and I have kids. We end in Salt Lake City now, and the family always comes there. We stay up in Park City, and honestly, the weather and the scenery is always beautiful, and the kids enjoy it. So I've learned to kind of enjoy the Salt Lake City one too. But now Nashville is kind of a newer thing, so this is definitely up there on the list. I know a lot of people that are coming just because it's Nashville, so I think this is kind of the new Nash Vegas. I've heard people calling it whatever. So yeah, Nashville's probably. Man, that's tough. I think every outdoor has something unique about it. Different things that are kind of cool, whether it's like the part of the country you go to, just the scenery, from Unadilla up in the northeast to Washougal in the northwest, and man, there's a lot of really cool ones. As far as just a track goes though, man, it's a toss-up between Redbud and Millville. Those are 2 of my favorites. They each offer just something cool. The crowds are always really awesome. So yeah, to me it's a 50-50 between Redbud and Millville. I for sure, back in my day, years more beginning my career, preferred like the softer, ruddier track. I think just being in Florida, you kind of grow up riding in the sand and kind of more muddy, sandier, kind of those conditions. But again, I've done this so long that I've kind of learned kind of how to ride the hardback stuff, and honestly really enjoy that as well. So yeah, man, it's hard to pick. I like there being a good mix. Some weekends it's a hardback weekend, and some weekends it's soft and ruddy. I think it really allows you to showcase kind of more of your versatile skills if you have them. If you're better in soft or better in hard, or if you can do good in both. I think that's a cool thing to kind of have to deal with both conditions. I like food. I'm skinny, and I can't gain weight to save my life, so you wouldn't know it by looking at me. But I eat a lot, and I like food. It's hard to pick one, man. I like food. If I'm going for like sweets, I don't really eat sweets. I'm not a big sweet breakfast guy, but man, it's be simple. Probably eggs and some kind of meat. Maybe a little beef patty or bacon, something like that. But pretty simple, eggs or some meat. So the last like 2 years, actually Ken Roxon, my teammate, has kind of opened my eyes to it, I guess. I've always eaten pretty healthy, but I've kind of been on more of that, like if you want to call it carnivore diet. Still like fruit, maybe some vegetables, but mainly like meat and fruit and honey and dairy. Try to eat like raw dairy when I can. So honestly, I'll eat chicken I eat less chicken than I used to. I would say I used to be like 80% of the time like chicken or fish, and maybe 20% like red meat, something like that. But I'd say it's kind of flip-flopped where I'm like 80% of the time some type of red meat, whether it's just some ground beef patty or a steak, and then maybe 20% like chicken or fish. So for me, honestly, right now it's meat, just some good old red meat. Well, I just posted it the other day, so if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen it on my stories. I'm literally addicted to the gunpowder and Medusa. I like, when you're preparing it, just get some good gunpowder, just cover it in gunpowder, and then just sprinkle some Medusa on top of it. Literally addicted to it. And my wife was out of town a few weeks ago on a one thing, and I had all three of with 3 little girls. I had 3 of them at home by myself. My 2 older ones, one's 1 year old, so she wasn't eating it, but my older ones are 8 and 5, and I made some steaks, and I'm like, I'm gonna just put the gunpowder and Medusa on it and see what they say. They literally loved it, and they're not picky, but usually they would just like some salt or something on simple. I made it with gunpowder and Medusa, just how I like it, and they didn't even want A1. But I've been addicted to it. It's honestly a good thing though. Whatever. It's really good. So gunpowder and Medusa are my go-tos right now. I eat pretty healthy most of the time anyways. I would say literally I'm kind of the same. Just like I said, I'm eating, instead of majority like chicken or turkey or fish, and then a little bit of red meat, I just flip-flop. That's where I'm eating mostly red meat and a little bit of chicken and turkey or fish. And then vegetables, I used to always, like every dinner, like lunch, I would make sure I had vegetables. So I've just, and I always ate a lot of fruit too. So I would say I've taken kind of the same with the meat thing. Instead of being like 50 vegetables and fruit, I'm like probably 80% fruit and 20% vegetables. So just kind of cut more of the leafy green vegetables out. So my diet really didn't change that much, other than a little bit less vegetables and a little more red meat, just on the scale of like proportions. So yeah, no diarrhea for me. I've been good. I'm fortunate with that. I mean, it's a low bar, so you're beating him automatically. No, I can't believe Mathis didn't come to Nashville. I saw it. He was there last week too with Pookie. And I can't believe he's not here. I thought for sure they'd be here.
I figured that this would be a Pookie place.
I actually didn't get the answer why he didn't come. I actually texted him, and I'm in a group text with a bunch of guys with Steve, and I don't think I got the answer why he didn't come. I'm surprised. He's probably at a U2 concert in the Sphere in Vegas or something this weekend, and that's probably not far out.
Yeah, that's all right. It'll be his loss.
Yeah, this is way better than anything that Pullman makes.
All right, awesome. Well, let's go do a factory rig tour, and then we'll get in some jerky.
Yeah, come check it out, and we'll see what we're working with.